Okay, I've been taking a lot of pictures, but I want to try to give a video tour of the front office of G-ILDA. This is a Mark 8 Spitfire converted to the TR9 dual cockpit. There's the rear cockpit. And I've been flying, this is the seat I've been spending a lot of time in, and we're going to take a quick tour inside. So this is a quick pan of the instrument layout. It's the famous spade control there in the center. And I'm going to see if I can walk you through what it takes to start this girl. So the first thing we do to start the plane is we turn the ground to flight electrical switch to flight. We're not going to do that right now. And then we go in here, over there on the left behind the throttle quadrant, and we flick the master from left to right to on. This unguards the mag switches. We check that the landing gear down indicator, which is right there, is down. We also make sure that the rest of our switches are off. The next thing we do is put on the brakes. Now, the brakes are that weird little lever right in the middle of the stick, or rather the spade. What you do is you pull that to the side, and that engages pneumatic pressure on both wheels. If you look down there, the leftmost gauge you see is the pneumatic pressure, and that tells us if we have enough pressure to actually operate our brakes. We want to make sure we check that before we try starting the engine, because we need brakes. After that, we reach down for the two trim wheels. Elevator trim's the big one right there. Rudder trim's the one next to it. We want elevator trim to be neutral. Rudder trim we want to be cranked all the way to the right and then back just a couple of quarter turns. This takes a lot of rudder trim. Next, we turn our attention to the throttle quadrant. We turn that left, pull that left lever back. That's the fuel cutoff. We move the throttle forward about ½ centimeter. We make sure that the prop, which is the outermost lever, is full forward. We then look at a few more gauges. We check that the warning lights above and below the yellow oil pressure gauge are on. There's a generator and the and the fuel pressure warning light, are both on. We check that the fuel quantity, which is the rightmost bottom instrument there, is showing a decent quantity. We make sure that the main fuel cutoff, which is that inboard lever there, is on, and we unscrew the primer. You'll notice that the main fuel lever is almost the same shape and in the same position as the gear selector. This has brought many Spitfires to grief. To start the engine, we ensure again that the main fuel engine cutoff lever is full idle. We then turn the booster pump. That's of that row of switches there. That's the big fat silver one. We pull the booster pump on for about 30 seconds, 2, 3, 4, etc. While we're doing that, we go over to the primer and pump in about 4 or 5 there. Leave it pulled out so that so we can pump in some more primer. Once the fuel, once we are done with that, we turn the fuel boost pump off, and within a couple of seconds we push the red idle cutoff lever to full rich, or rather to automatic. We see those two little covers, B and S, that's boost and starter. We uncover those, put one finger on the boost, one finger on the starter, hit them both. Count 1, 2, 3, 4 blade tips, and then go over here and flick the mag switches. Can we see the mag switches? The mag switches are over there. We flick the mag switches, count. If it catches, fabulous. We take our fingers off. Actually, we turn the one mag on. If it catches, we turn the number 2 mag on. Then we take our fingers off that. We adjust the throttle to about 1,000. We put the primer in. We look for rising oil pressure. We make sure that we're not on fire, and then we catch our breath. Let's get some focusing here. There we go. I'm going to skip the pre-takeoff checks here, but to take off, props full forward. We take the throttle up to 6 inches of boost. Now, rather than using manifold pressure here, they use boost, which is, let me zoom in on that here. Boost is up there. Boost is essentially ambient pressure above, or manifold pressure above ambient. So you go up to 6 inches of boost. RPM up there is going to be about 28,000, 2,900. You need to keep it below 3,000. Look over here at the airspeed indicator. Check that it's moving. We're going to be bouncing along very quickly. Wait until we have about 75 miles an hour. We're going to raise the tail at about 50, lower the tail a little bit at 75. Don't lower it too much, because in a level attitude, with the struts fully extended, we have only 9 inches of prop clearance. This is a grass runway, so when we hit a bump, those struts are going to compress and we have something like 4 inches of clearance. So we keep the tail low. At 75, we pull back gently, rotate. Then comes the fun part. The throttle friction lock is full on, so we can take our right hand off the stick and move it to the gear lever. And we switch. Our left hand is now on the stick. Our right hand hits this, hits the gear lever, and first pushes it down for 2 seconds, then moves it forward and holds it forward for 2 seconds, lets it pop back up. We switch hands back again and go to the prop control. Bring the prop control to 2400. I'm going to move up over here. Thunk. If this is a touch and go, this is about the same time that we also put our hands on the flap lever and pop the flaps up. Now the flaps, you'll notice, are either up or down. The flaps are pretty crazy things here. They're fully pneumatic, and they're either up 0 degrees or down 85 degrees. Read that. I'll repeat that. 85 degrees of flaps.